Welcome, creative souls, to Everything Artsy. I have a good one for you guys today. So, before I even started painting, I already knew I wanted this piece to really feel energetic and emotional color wise. I pulled a lot of different watercolors to start with, like violet, magenta, teal. Got some blues in there, warm oranges, and some yellow. And I really wanted that strong contrast between cool and warm colors. And honestly, when I'm working abstractly like this, I'm usually thinking more about emotional temperature than realism. I'm asking myself questions such as, what colors feel alive together? What colors create tension? And which colors create movement? That's a big one. And I also knew I wanted some gold in this piece eventually because gold tends to unify chaos really beautifully in abstract artwork. So at this point, I'm basically just setting up a visual language before I even touch the paper. So here's the very beginning. And this stage is always funny because abstract paintings usually look either ridiculously promising or completely terrible. There's almost no in between. And at this point, I wasn't trying to make a painting yet. I was just trying to create movement. That's something I think a lot of people skip over in abstract art. They start trying to make composition decisions like way too early. But in the beginning, I'm mostly looking for rhythm, gesture, momentum, directional energy. I'm basically trying to wake the surface up. And one thing I like doing is using really loose calligraphic movements early on because they create natural motion throughout the composition. And even if most of these marks disappear later, they're still in the painting. They're under it. They influence everything else. And honestly, a lot of abstract paintings still carry the memory of the first few marks all the way to the end. Okay, so this is where I started building larger color relationships. And at this stage, I was honestly just reacting intuitively. I wasn't overthinking anything yet. I saw the violet marks and thought, okay, I'm going to add some warmth. So then I started introducing the oranges and coral-like colors. Then it got to be a little too warm for me, so then I decided to push back with the teal and the cooler greens. So it's interesting because abstract painting really becomes a balancing act between warm and cool colors, soft and sharp marks, busy and quiet, transparent and opaque. I mean, you're constantly correcting the energy of the piece. One thing I want you guys to notice here is how unfinished and awkward the stage looks, because this is the stage where most people panic. And honestly, this is the stage where a lot of people quit too early. But early abstraction almost always looks weird before it starts making sense. Okay, so around this point, the painting started getting really intense really fast. And this is where I started getting excited, but also a little nervous because there was definitely some energy happening. But there was also a danger of the painting becoming visually overwhelming. I started layering, using bigger gestures, darker accents, stronger directional movement. And I think this is where the painting first started developing personality, but this is also where one of the biggest abstract painting mistakes can happen, and that is falling in love with every mark. Because once that happens, you stop editing, you stop simplifying, you start protecting everything instead of composing. And honestly, I could already feel myself doing that a little bit here. I was adding more and more information without fully stepping back and asking, what does this painting actually need? So eventually, I hit a point where I realized this painting needed air. Everything was becoming too compressed, too active, too colorful, too equal. So this is where I started coming in with titanium white and white gesso. And honestly, this part was terrifying because once you start dragging the white across the page, you know there's no going back. But this is also where the painting started becoming more interesting because the white paint wasn't just covering things, it was separating things. It was creating atmosphere, breathing room, contrast. And one thing I've learned with abstract painting is that sometimes destruction creates clarity. A painting can actually become stronger after you interrupt it. So instead of trying to preserve every beautiful brushstroke, I started thinking more compositionally. I started asking myself, okay, where does the eye need to rest? Where are the areas that are too loud? What can be softened? And what needs to disappear completely? And honestly, this was the stage where the painting stopped feeling decorative and started feeling emotional. All right, so this was the first version. And at first glance, there were actually a lot of things I liked about it. The color palette was really strong. I had these deep ultramarines and navy blues against the pinks, the violets, and a little bit of teal and gold. The painting had energy, it had movement, and the big sweeping blue gesture that's going across the paper became really the backbone of the whole composition. That blue movement was carrying the painting, and without it, the whole thing would probably have fallen apart. But even though there were parts I liked, some things still felt off. And this is something I think happens to a lot of abstract painters too. Sometimes a painting has good ingredients, but no hierarchy. And so everything was kind of yelling at the same volume. I had black scribbles, gold marks, thick brushstrokes, high chroma colors everywhere. There were gestures moving in different directions, and eventually the eye didn't really know where to land. So one thing I want you guys to think about in your own artwork is what is the main event in the painting? Because if everything is important, nothing becomes important. And that was the biggest issue here. The painting had energy, but it didn't have clarity. Another issue was that almost the entire painting lived in middle values. There weren't enough really quiet areas. There weren't enough deep darks. There wasn't enough breathing room. So visually, it started feeling crowded. And honestly, once I started noticing that, I couldn't unsee it. So by this point, the painting had become very layered and very energetic. And honestly, I had mixed feelings about it. There were parts I really loved. I loved the movement. I loved the color vibration. I loved some of the deep blues and violets, but I could also feel the painting fighting itself. There were too many competing areas, and everything was asking for attention at the same time. And this is something I really want you guys to hear because I think it's important. Energy alone does not make a strong abstract painting. You also need hierarchy. You need moments where the eye can rest. You do need one dominant idea. You need structure underneath the chaos. And at this point, I knew the painting wasn't finished yet, but I also knew I had to stop adding random information and start making more intentional compositional decisions. And honestly, that's where the real struggle of this painting began. Now, I'm going to show you the ugly middle stage, what wasn't working, why I started disliking the painting, and then how I pushed through it and finally got to a version I actually loved. And I think this is important because a lot of times online, we only see the finished artwork. We don't really see the confusion or the overworking or the bad compositional decisions, the panic painting, all that stuff. But honestly, that middle stage is where most paintings are actually made, especially abstract paintings. So if you've ever had a painting that suddenly felt messy or overwhelming or just completely wrong halfway through, this video is definitely for you. Okay, so this was the moment where I basically decided I either ruin this painting or I save it. And honestly, this is where a lot of paintings start getting better. Not when you add more details, but when you become willing to destroy parts of it. So I came in really aggressively with white paint. And at the time, the stage actually looked terrible to me. I remembered looking at it and thinking, oh my goodness, what have I done? But this stage was important because what I really was doing wasn't ruining the painting. I was breaking up the visual noise. I was trying to create hierarchy. The white paint started separating areas. It created atmosphere, contrast. It buried certain things I didn't want to see. It allowed other areas to finally stand out. And one thing I want to point out is sometimes overpainting is editing, not failure, so don't panic. I think a lot of artists get scared to paint over areas because they feel attached to the work they already did, and I'm guilty of that at times. But sometimes the painting improves when you stop protecting every single mark. And this stage taught me that. So for this painting. So another thing that started helping the composition here was the circular shape near the upper center. That circle finally gave the eye something to organize around. Before the stage, though, the painting was just floating energy. Now it started feeling like there was structure underneath all that chaos. But even though this version was more interesting, it still wasn't fully resolved. There was still too much happening. And some areas started getting muddy because it has so many semi-opaque layers stacked on top of each other. And this is something I see happen a lot. You know, we panic, we keep adding information, but more information does not always equal a better painting. Sometimes clarity comes from subtraction. Okay, so we're at the final piece, and honestly, this is where the painting finally clicked. The biggest breakthrough was the gold line. That single structural decision changed everything because now the painting had hierarchy. There was a very clear organizing principle happening. The gold line divided the composition into two emotional spaces. The bottom became more fluid and kind of cascading like. And finally, my eye had a path to follow. And this is something I really want you guys to think about in your own paintings. A strong composition usually needs one dominant structure, not 10 competing ideas. One strong idea, and once I committed to that gold division line, you can call it, the rest of the painting started to make sense to me, and I started feeling good about it. I also intentionally removed a lot of that black scribble language from the earlier stages, and this made a huge difference in my opinion because the scribbles were creating too much noise, visual noise. Once I simplified them, the remaining marks actually mattered more. And another thing that improved the painting was the amount of breathing room. The upper section especially became much softer and more atmospheric. I really love that. And you just see the light, the air, the movement without the chaos. And I think that balance between energy and calm is what finally made the piece feel complete to me. So yeah, this painting definitely humbled me a little bit. Honestly, I'm really glad I pushed through the awkward stages instead of quitting completely or messing it up even further, because I think this ended up becoming one of those paintings where the struggle actually made the final piece stronger. And hopefully this video has helped you guys feel a little less frustrated when your own paintings hit that weird middle stage, because almost every painting has one, especially abstract paintings. So anyway, let me know in the comments which version you liked best. Did you like the original chaotic version, the overpainted middle stage, or the final resolved piece? And if you guys want more videos where I break down my actual painting process and composition decisions like this, almost critiquing wise, definitely let me know. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy creating.
Where creativity